Hey, fellas. Just got back from Newton Hills in South Dakota. Went on a little Sunday afternoon hike, so I'm getting this to you a little bit later. Um, but yeah, just kind of something we're starting to try to do um, is try to get outside more and get into God's creation. So Sunday afternoons, we're going to try to get out of Orange City and go for little hikes around northwest Iowa. I reckon that we'll probably run out of options here um, by the end of the summer. But anyway, it was good to get outside. It was a beautiful day. Hopefully, it was beautiful where you guys were at too. Hopefully, you're doing well and this finds you well. I've been doing a study, Francis Chan study out of Mark, and I just share a little. Just a little something that God kind of slapped me in the face with today. Um, so I'm reading out of Mark 4. Jesus talks about the parable of the sowers. Okay, so he just has called his disciples. He's healed a bunch of people. He's ticked off the Pharisees already, and he draws them in and he tells them this parable of the sower. And the sower is sowing the seed, and as he's sowing the seed, there's some seed that falls on the rocky soil and it withers away, and the birds come and pick it up. There's some seed that goes into a rocky soil that gets it kind of takes root, but doesn't last long and ends up withering in the weather. And then you have the soil that falls amongst the thorns, and it again takes root, but then it gets choked out. And then you have the good soil. The seed lands in the good soil, and it takes root and it bears fruit, right? And I often thought about this was something that Jesus was telling us about, like who's saved, who's going to heaven, who's not going to heaven. But as I'm reading with Francis Chan, it was actually something I interpreted a little different. The sower is Jesus, and he's sowing the seed, the word of God, and it goes out. The idea of the soil is how the word is received. Okay, in the rocky soil, it's not received. Satan comes in and he it well, here I'll read it to you. This is out of Mark 4, 14 through 20. The sower sows the word. Um, these these are the ones who are beside the road where the word is sown, and when they hear, immediately Satan comes and takes away the word which has been sown in them. So this is the first soil. In a similar way, these are the ones on whom the seed was sown on the rocky places, who, when they hear the word, immediately they receive it with joy. So they hear the word and they're like, "Hey, this sounds good. God is good to me. He's going to bear fruit. And maybe I'm going to stop swearing for a little bit." And then they have no firm root in themselves, but are only temporary. Then, with affliction and persecution, when that arises, because of the word, immediately they fall away. All right. So they hear it, they're like super excited about it, but then they get persecuted, maybe they get made fun of, maybe why are you doing that? That's stupid. Why are you acting that way? Why are you changing? Just and they like, you're right, this sucks. I don't want to be made fun of by my friends, by my peers, by my family, whatever. So I'm gonna this is too hard. And then there are others on whom the seed was sown among the thorns. And these are the ones who have heard the word, but the worries of the world and the deceitfulness of riches and the desires for other things enter in, and they choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. All right, so there's the thorns. They hear the word, they start bearing fruit, but the cares of the world, the desires of the world, the desires for riches get in the way, and they begin to focus on that stuff more, all right, more than the word, and it becomes choked out. And then you have the verse 20, and those that are come upon the seed where it was sown in good soil, and they hear the word and accept it, fruit 30, 60, and 100-fold. These people, they hear the word, they persevere, they have deep roots, they know God, and they're faithful, and they bear fruit. And I was convicted, because if I'm being real honest with you guys, I'm probably my soil probably reflects more the thorns. And I don't know where you're at amongst there, but again, this isn't like who's going to heaven. This is more like I hear the word. How do I respond? Right? Am I afraid to testify about God? Am I more worried about getting things and making money and getting chicks and or whatever? And yeah, I tend to be more of the thorny stuff. So I don't know where you're at, but that's just kind of something I was challenged with today. Parable of the sower. And yeah, I just want to encourage you guys. Get in there and get into the Word. Get to know God. It's a great time for that. It takes 15 minutes. But I would also encourage you guys here to really finish strong. You guys, we have a week of classes and a week of finals. And I don't know what your finals look like, but I would again encourage you, stick to your routine. Find that motivation to finish strong. But then find some time to reach out this week and touch base with some guys. I know some of you guys are doing a really good job of staying connected, but yeah, we are not meant to be alone. That was something that I was challenged with this whole year. We're not islands. We're made to be in fellowship, and it's hard to be in fellowship when we're, around all over the country. So I'd encourage you to reach out, see how each other are doing, how your teammates are doing. Those new guys, try to connect with them. And if your captains are reaching out to you, man, make sure you respond to them. But, challenge went well this week. We had 14 guys finish that first challenge. You guys watched the Nolf and Imar matches. Dylan praised a couple of you guys. I know Frankston Small comes to mind. Sam comes to mind. Manny and Eddie. He says you guys did a really good job of just responding to the prompt, right? So this week, we'd like to get more than 14. So captains, if you're listening to this, make sure you're encouraging your guys to get in there and watch that video. He's actually going to have you watch 2 videos this week. There's a McElravy and not Stephen Abbas. It's one of the Abbas' brothers. Watch that match, and then the Gilman and Lezak match from a couple of years ago. And I think if I'm understanding Dylan's what he's hoping for, both these guys, McElravy and Gilman, fell behind early, right? And so look at their body language. How did they respond to being in a hole? How did they attack the deficit? And then, what are some things that you can be working on? Think technique-wise, but look at take notice of body language and how they attack the deficit. Okay, so that's the challenge this week. It's 2 matches, so we're going to up it to 15 points each. Right now, I believe, if it's based on averages, Team Kentucky Fried Chicken Wings, which is Blake's team, is in the lead with 8 points. The Flying Squirrels are in second with 6.67 points. The Double Leg Ninjas, which is Iman's team, they're next with 5 points. The Tiny Ankle Snatchers, which is Bennett's team, they're sitting at 4 points. And then you have Team Fat Man Rolls, which is Matt's team, has 1.667 points. So Matt was the only one on his team to do it. So come on, Fat Man Rolls or whatever. Get in there. If you get a chance to read a book, which I assume you guys are going to be spending a lot of time working on classes, that may not happen this week, but I know Reed's already read a book, so he's gotten points for that. Probably in a couple weeks, I'll get your other challenges out to you. Yeah, one thing I want to bring to your attention, and I'll let you go. I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes, but we're going to try something new. It was an idea that was brought to us by Chase. So Chase is going to be our first person to do this, but we're going to kind of every other day or a couple of days a week, we're going to use our social media platforms, the Instagram. We're going to use Instagram to kind of celebrate what we're kind of doing in quarantine, a day in the life of. So tomorrow we're going to have Chase. Chase is going to get the username and password for our Instagram feed, and he is going to post 6 to 10 videos of what he's doing throughout the course of the day. And just kind of, when he gets up, what does he do? What's he eating for breakfast? Goofy stuff like that. If he gets a workout in, what's he doing? If he's like going to play mini golf or disc golf. going to do that, if he's going to work, if he's what he's doing for homework. So yeah, just a short clip on Instagram, 6 to 10, and put it in the story. So usually what will happen is the night before, I will text you and say, hey, would you be willing to do our day in the life of? And then I'll give you the username and the password, and then you put stuff together. So Chase will be our guinea pig. We'll see how that looks tomorrow. But so be on the lookout and be open to doing that. Hey, no, I'm praying for you guys. Know that I am thinking about you. I'll reach out to you guys again this week. We want to celebrate Josh Lewis. He's our newest recruit for us this year. He committed this last week. Josh is a guy out of Sergeant Bluff, if I forgot to tell you that last week. But he's going to be our new Josh Dahl, so he'll take the reins from Josh. But yeah, hey, love you guys. You guys take care, and if you have any questions, please reach out. Otherwise, I'll be in contact this week. All right? Talk to you later. Bye.